Betty and Veronica, fashion has always been the name of the game. So let's dig back into some classic Archie comics that fully illustrate this concept as we examine Betty and Veronica dolls. Not action figures, dolls. Look at those fashions. Oh, they're amazing. There's Betty and Veronica. This is an issue of the Betty and Veronica comic series from 1965. And what they would often do in the comics is they would do what they call a pinup. It was just one panel and it showed the characters in some kind of scene, you know, playing out a little bit of dialogue, but it was large and it was something, I guess, assuming that you would take this and maybe put it on your wall, pin it up. But for these gals, it would showcase their marvelous sense of fashion. Here's another one from the 1960s. Boy, you wouldn't think that the red and green thing would work very well. I mean, you think Christmas colors, but look at that. It so works. Good job, Veronica. And here's Betty with all different fashions. Love that suit. Oh, the 60s style suit. There's some fishnet stockings. Every detail, right down to the little shoes you can barely see. I remember as a kid, reading these comics and just admiring every little detail, noticing every little detail with these gals. So we're dipping into my comic book collection from storage downstairs. I loved the Betty and Veronica issues. This is Betty and Veronica Spectacular. It's a little bit thicker. They called it Giant. And look at that. Oh my gosh. He's painting on her, Archie is. And this mod thing going on with the go-go boots. Oh, wow. Here's another thing. Archie, we made these minis and maxis from Pop Top Rings. I remember in the 1970s, maxis and minis. That term was thrown around a lot. So there's their little outfits. I love Betty's more though, don't you? And this is Betty and Veronica also. And here's another one. Let me see. This is going to be from the 80s, I think. 1979, close. But here's fashions for fun and games. And these were submitted, the ideas for these were submitted by readers. They give them credit and list their city and everything, and then one of the Archie artists draws them. This looks a lot like Dan DeCarlo, who was so known for the trademark look of Betty and Veronica. I always thought of Dan DeCarlo, who worked for Archie Comics, by the way, for more than 50 years, and really was a big, very talented artist for them. I always thought of him as the Versace of Archie Comics because everything he put on these ladies just looked amazing, looked beautiful, made them look sexy. He had that same talent that Versace, the designer, did. You know, they couldn't wear anything dowdy. They couldn't wear anything that would not make them look so sexy. And here's another Betty and Veronica Spectacular from about that same time period. Well, 1974, a little bit earlier, and you can tell because they always reflected the trends of the changing times, and you can see these platform shoes. I remember them so vividly reading this comic as a kid. That was so big, and a little bit of flare bell bottom, not quite a raging bell bottom, but thicker at the ankle, definitely wider at the ankle. And then even on the inside, you can see this is falling apart. Look, I even put my name in it. I know that's a no-no, but I don't sell this stuff. I keep it for life. But I read it so much that it's falling apart. I really read these comics over and over and over. And I remember, it's like I can look at these now and I remember every panel from reading them when I was a kid. But again, the platform shoes and the little detail of the daisy there. I love that. And I totally noticed that as a kid. And oh, I remember this outfit on Betty. This is another one, Betty and Veronica Spectacular. Again, writing my name on the comics. But look at that. You know, I had this outfit when I was in grade school back then, only in denim. We call these gauchos, and you wore them a lot with boots, knee-length boots. And I had a pair of denim gauchos with a denim vest, a matching vest. And I wore that to school a lot. It was like a kind of a lighter blue denim, and I often wore a red shirt with it. But again, the amazing fashions. Now, I was thinking, before showing these items, which really is the focus of this episode and the next episode of Terrific Non-TV Toys, I was thinking back and realizing, you know, at the time, there really wasn't a lot of Archie merchandise, Archie Comics merchandise. I didn't remember a lot. And, you know, I figured, well, nowadays the Riverdale show is on the air, so they've got a ton of merchandise for that if you wander into Hot Topic. And they've got a lot of merchandise on the websites, too, on archiecomics.com. And then also, if you go to bettyandveronica.com, by the way, I just placed an order with bettyandveronica.com, and it's probably waiting for me in my mailbox, my P.O. box. But, yeah, I saw so much stuff on there that I wanted to have. Very, very cool stuff. Clothing and accessories and a lot of other things. So nowadays, you have a lot of choices for merchandise related to Archie Comics and its characters. Back then, I wasn't remembering much other than these and maybe the Happy Meal toys, which were, I think, a few years earlier that you saw in an episode of Terrific TV Toys. At the time that these dolls, these Betty and Veronica dolls, were released, the Archie's Weird Mysteries animated series was on. But other than that, the license, I was remembering, is pretty quiet. But then when I was paging through my comics, this one is a Betty and Veronica from the 1990s. You can tell because it's got Cheryl Blossom in it. And this is closer to the time period when these dolls were released. And look, I was totally forgetting. They had watches. They had a hat, which I own. I almost forgot that I owned it. And pins, lapel pins, with all 5 characters, the main characters, Archie, Betty, Veronica, Jughead, Reggie, a fanny pack. So you could order away for this back in the old days when people really weren't ordering online back in the 1990s. You could do that. And again, there's Veronica with her amazing fashion. So there was some merchandise, but just not as much as they have nowadays. So yeah, these gals, whatever they were wearing, there's that DD, the artist. You can always see like an artist's signature on these, unfortunately, back in the day. But these girls, their fashions changed with the times. And what you're going to see with this episode and the next episode of Terrific Non-TV Toys are some fashion dolls who are looking like the late 1990s. And these were released in the year 2000 by Playing Mantis. There are 3 for each character, 3 Bettys and 3 Veronicas. You'll see 2 Veronicas here because, as I recollect, I bought all 6 dolls and, you know, all 3 variations of each of the 2 characters. And then one of the Veronica dolls, I let my niece pick out one to have for herself. And so I'm going to show you a picture of that 3rd one that is not present here. My niece Veronica was actually named after Veronica Lodge because her dad is a big fan of Archie Comics. So, so right now I'm going to show you a 3rd Veronica doll so you can see what that one looked like too. And we're back. So we will do this in 2 parts. We'll look at some other comics in the next part, which focus on Betty. Got a bunch of Betty and Me comics from probably from 60s, 70s, and 80s. Also, I want to show you, I had a photocopy in my files downstairs, and I don't even remember actually where this came from, but this was an advertising for this doll line by Playing Mantis. And you can see 2 of the variations here, and then they show them in the boxes, introducing Betty and Veronica fashion dolls. So just an extra little advertisement here. So we will save Betty for next time, and we're going to look at Veronica. These are coming out of the box for the first time ever. As I mentioned, there's 3 variations of each character. You can find these on eBay. And you can find them on Amazon. You can even find them on Walmart.com. When I did a search, I saw them there. And they would range in price from $40 to $100 a pair, or maybe $50 to $70, $75 individually. There also were some Barbie dolls by Mattel as Betty and Veronica. There was only one variation of each of those dolls. I have yet to get them. I'm going to get them someday. I had always planned to. I just hadn't, hit the button on it online. Those are from the mid-2000s, the Betty and Veronica dolls by Mattel that are Barbies. So let's look first at the one that's featured in this advertisement. It's Veronica as a soccer player. You can tell on the box there's the Playing Mantis logo, and it says Betty's best friend Veronica on the sides, and it's got the image of the cartoon comic book version of that. Now each one of these also has, very cool, a comic book on the back, which I have never opened up, and I don't know if I have these. I doubt I have these. They don't look familiar to me. But then we'll be able to see the inside of these comics and the fashions that they reflected at the time. So you got that on the back. You got a little bit of verbiage. Veronica, gorgeous, sophisticated, and sexy to the hilt. This raven-haired rich girl is every boy's wildest dream. When Veronica strolls down a city street in one of her outrageously expensive designer outfits, she literally brings traffic screeching to a halt. While Veronica can have any boy she wants, the boy she most desires is Archie, for whom she'll plot, scheme, and cheat relentlessly to win him over from Betty Cooper. But despite the rivalry, Veronica loves Betty like a sister, go figure. They really reflect that nicely on the TV show Riverdale, if you've seen that. I'm really surprised by how much I like Riverdale and how much the casting of those characters just really works for these dynamics, because you see Betty and Veronica, they really play up the friend angle, even though, and not so much the rivalry angle like they did in the comics. I would argue that in the comics they're more rivals, but really reflecting the essence of the characters. Okay, you can see playingmantis.com here, archiecomics.com. So yeah, a little bit more verbiage. It says Archie Comics Publications, copyright 2000. All right, so let's break the seal on this one. Never been broken before. Take a close look at her. Hopefully it's not going to be too difficult to get this out of the box. And the comic book just slips out, so we'll set the box over there. I'll probably put these right back in the box when I'm done looking at them. Set that there. Let's look at the comic first. Archie. It is number 499 from September. Where is it? 2000. Yeah, September 2000. So I will be able to read that later, because I don't believe I own it. I saw the red hair and almost looked like Cheryl Blossom, but no, that's... Oh! There's a beach scene. Kathleen Webb! Hey, shout out to Kathleen. She's on my Facebook. Great, great writer. Very cool. Yeah, okay. Got a little bit of Jughead going on. Love it. Okay, so we'll read that later. In the meantime, we've got all of this to break free. It's going to take a little while. Probably should even pause this while I'm doing it. Come on, Ronnie. The hair is difficult. Uh-oh. It's like stitched. Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to pause. Okay, that took some doing. We finally freed her. It was very, very firmly stitched on that piece of plastic. She's got a brush. Look at this. It says B&V. Love that. That's another thing they do on Riverdale. They call each other B and V, which is very cute. Her hair looks wonderful, doesn't it? Just wonderful. Got bangs going on in the front. And she's very, very flexible and posable. Swivels at the waist. What's that? Piece of plastic, extra piece of plastic. She's got her shorts on with the shirt tucked in. Soccer outfit. Flexible here. Soft rubber hands. And legs jointed at the knee, much like a Barbie doll. Very thick socks. And this is a nylon type material for her soccer outfit. But yeah, very poseable. Yeah. She's got her sneakers here. There we go. Those have the same kind of stitching. And actually, you know, it's been 19 years as of shoot time since these were made and released. And this is like the rubber is kind of sticky, almost like if you saw the episode where we looked at the Wizard of Oz Migos, the vintage ones, and the Wicked Witch's hat was a sticky rubber like this. But it's got the stitching on the bottom of the shoe. And it's actually, looks like it's got a design on the side. Yeah, it's just like circles. It's got some detail, like it would be a logo, like a Nike logo or something like that, without being a trademarked logo. So then, now her feet are flat. So we'll see if we can put the shoes on her. It's a little tough with these thick socks, but they do go on. Ugh. Grab that too. And put the other shoe on. So she's ready to play soccer now. Very cute. Oops. Some little thread from the stitching in her hair still. So the back has Velcro. Velcro enclosure. I think I see some printing on the back of her head. Sure, copyright and all of that. Blue and gold for the Riverdale team, because they were blue and gold colors. And we will make this complete with the soccer ball too. Take a look at that. Get it to fall out. There we go. Soccer ball is a hollow plastic. Right, kind of to size. Maybe slightly smaller than scale. I love the brush though. That's very nice. Okay, so there's the soccer player. These are going to be long episodes. We'll put the soccer player aside and turn our attention to the lovely lady in black leather. I can find my knife. Okay, one moment. Oh, there it is. Okay. Serious one. It's not the live cherry. Okay, Betty's best friend Veronica again. All the same verbiage on the front and on the back. And this time we have an issue of Betty and Veronica. And she's going to have the brush in here too. And it looks like the same shoes. Hey, there's the comic book. Dan DeCarlo. He got to sign his whole name that time. Was able to meet him maybe a couple years before he passed away and interview him. And as a part of that, Google, if you like, Cheryl Blossom issue number 34 and look at the cover. He was so nice. Such a nice man. Look at that. I love that. Bling bling. Oh, and that outfit. I love that. Okay, so another comic to read later. Okay, Veronica in black leather. At least it looks quite a bit like it. Alrighty, that's about 5 minutes of your life you have back. You're welcome. This is like the most challenging out-of-the-box experience. These things are really, really tightly in there. Alright, here is Ronnie. And the brush is the same as with the other doll. And the shoes are the same as with the other doll. And she's got a duffel bag, which we will take out. Wow. Okay. Interesting that on the package, on her outfit, well, she's got boots on for one thing, and she doesn't have boots as packaged, and then she's got this dot on her outfit. So maybe some changes were made from original concept to execution of the doll. It's got like black leggings. I love it. I guess leggings have often been in fashion. Not just recently, but she does not have the dot in the front either. Here, with this sort of halter top, you can see how posable she is and how she swivels. Anyways, I'm wandering in thought here, and I wanted to grab this brush, this other brush, and brush her hair. Definitely the most difficult part of opening these dolls from the year 2000 after so many years, is that plastic stitched attachment in their hair. Oh my gosh, it's horrid. I can't imagine it being a whole lot easier back in the day. Definitely parents had to open these. And they do seem, you know, as far as toys, they're definitely for a collector, but they definitely are kid-friendly too, because they're so posable. So you could say that these were equally for both audiences, not more for the collector, I wouldn't say. So we've got a tag here, Archie Comic Publications, Inc., 2000, Playing Mantis, blah, 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 all rights reserved. The inside of her jacket is like a felt thing going on, whereas the outside is a rubbery, leather-seeming plastic of some kind. She's got, you know, that looks, it's so crazy, because I'm looking at this stripe in real life, and it is honestly as purple as this box is, but with this camera and the artificial light I'm using today, it's really showing up blue, but it is purple. Wow. She's so cute in her outfit. All right, so those are 2 out of the 3 Veronica dolls from this set. And next time on Terrific Non-TV Toys, we will look at the 3 Betty dolls. All right, thanks for watching.